And you see the devil over there?
Oh.
Or that's Pan. That ain't a devil. That's Pan, because Pan had horns. That's wild.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall.
Welcome to another Something in the Water podcast. I'm Sean Clark.
Uncle Dave Griffin here. This is episode 98. Ooh, we're so close.
Feeling old.
So close to 100.
To
Glad
what?
that y'all are joining in with us. We having some
Who's Nin?
9 Inch Nails.
Oh,
Trent Reznor. Acronym NIN. We having some boiled peanuts and some libations, and so as you can tell, ain't nothing new. The same old thing we do all the time on here. But we do try to mix it up and
Be consistent.
yeah.
talk about something that we ain't never talked about before, like,
No Diddy.
oh, Lord Diddy.
Oh, Lord Diddy.
Lord Diddy, have mercy. Lord Diddy or didn't he? No, he did. No, every man in America is innocent till proven guilty.
Well,
and Jeffrey Epstein was guilty. And P. Diddy came along. He said, I got this.
it's like you thought Cosby was bad. Hold my beer.
Yeah. What they call them parties? Raves? No. He had a special name for his. It was the P. Diddy Debutante Ball. P. Diddy Hootenanny. I'd give a bad name to
Hootenannies all over.
all the hootenannies in the world. Well, you know, we don't know. It's all in the hands of Lord and lawyers at this point. But it's news and it's relevant. Always relevant on Something in the Water podcast. We talk about current events. We talk about past events. You know, since we become monetized, they won't let us play as much, you know, free form music anymore. I mean, I'm sure you can,
More money, more problems, Dave.
but
Right. You just won't get
it'll come up, like a message will come up and say, this artist is what's it called? Anyhow,
Suing
it's
you.
like publishing. No, they don't stop it. It's just saying that they're monetized.
Right. They're getting the revenue from
They're
the
getting
ads.
some little senses,
Yeah.
pennies and senses from
Senses.
our podcast, because their music was on our podcast. So I guess we can just listen to anything we want to.
Right.
It's not coming out of our pocket, is it?
Well, it's coming out of our pocket to their pocket.
Well, for the ad revenue, we don't get because of that.
It's coming out of the ad revenues, right? Or is it actually
No, if
coming
you
straight
have-
from us?
If you have other people's music in there, and it's, I guess, as long as it's okay to use, as long as you forfeit your right to the money.
We ain't forfeiting nothing.
That's what I'm saying. If you do choose to use it, you can't get any revenue off the ads.
That episode.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, the heck with that. So I was thinking on the way over here, why don't we put our CD Baby videos of Pine Box Dwellers and Newfanglers and all that stuff? Then we'd get some money off of our own podcast. Monopoly.
Well,
Right?
it already
It's not
says.
like the money's going to start rolling in either way.
Well, I don't care. I'll take a
It's-
check for
Well,
5 cents.
You should have already been.
I like to start
getting
every podcast with, "How do we make our money that we don't make?"
some. Well, I mean, it shows up when I have something in the water in there, and it shows it going to.
Oh,
This
I
is-
don't know
this is
how
for,
any of it works.
This is for board meetings, Dave,
Yeah.
not for
I don't know how any
podcasts.
of it works. I'm sure these people are interested in.
Yeah.
Y'all ever heard of that band Glass Beads?
Glass beams.
Beans?
Beams.
Beams. Oh, I
BEAMS.
thought you said beads. I'm sitting here looking at this band, and each one of them in the band has glass beads all over their face, or something. Looks like wings.
Yep.
Wild. They play some transcendental music. The Glass Beams do.
So what you been doing? I heard Fish Stock closed down.
God Almighty. You talking about
Hurt
money and lack of?
hurt your pocket.
It does.
Why'd they close?
I don't know. I still ain't got
They didn't know how to fire you.
to the bottom of that. Twerk
So we're
me.
going to have to close down for a few weeks until we shake Dave.
Twerk me. Twerk me. They liked me. I think I heard, well, I don't want to speculate. I'm hoping that it's just a few days off, maybe a month off kind of thing until he decides what he's going to do next. And
They're not
then opens back up. I don't know. I don't know a
just
thing
not
about
doing
it.
good
But
business, or you
I'm
know.
trying to get a hold of James Files, who lives right down from it. He's always got an ear to the ground, and find out if he can suss it out. Or man,
What is it?
I was fortunate enough to
Hear all
be,
these peanuts?
I was fortunate enough to be booked there 3 times a month. So that really is going to have a negative impact on my monthly income.
Talked to Will Gore, and he's not going to do the Big Oak Jam this year because the city's giving him so much run around about
Yeah.
whatnot, not wanting it to happen. So
Really?
giving him so much paperwork that he can't even really do it.
Now that's a shame.
Yeah, and they donated, I don't know how much
hell,
to fire
Will's
department.
fire department, you know.
And
He's a friend of the fire department. And they've got
I think it's politics or something.
there's always politics going on everywhere. But I'll have to say that Waycross, Georgia has been very good to us as far as our festivals go over here. Giving me kind of free. I mean, I'm renting the fairgrounds just like anybody else would.
Well, here we go.
Throw an event out there.
20 more festivals next year, Dave.
Well,
Well,
anybody's welcome to do it.
I'm gonna do mine a week for you.
And it's going to be called the Pine Box.
It's gonna be called.
Bonanza.
It's going to be called P. Diddy Hootenanny. P. Diddy Pine
P.
Box
Diddy.
Dweller.
You know, John, that's P. Diddy's first name.
Oh, my God. The revelations.
Where were
The,
you, John?
the similarities are coincidence
Well,
or pineapple.
I'm the OG Sean Diddy. Sean Diddy did he not?
John Diddy Dweller.
Sean did he not do it?
Hey. Well,
I do throw some wild parties though.
boy, we used to have some wild ones at my house. In the early days of the Graham Parsons guitar pool, well, it started. The first 4 years was in the backyard of the house.
And
Then we moved it to the public,
then we moved it to your bathroom.
and your feet was 2 of them. And then the first 2 years we had it in the public. We had it at a little nice honky tonk, and we'd at the end of the night at 12, we'd all come back to the house for the after party. That was a wild time. We had Walter Egan sitting in the laundry room on top of the dryer, being interviewed by the guy from the New York Times who had come down to cover it. That first one was it was like a P. Diddy party. And had John Cornell, the original drummer on Gilded Palace of Sin and Sweetheart of Rodeo. I've drummed on certain tracks on that. John Cornell was just the weekend following Thanksgiving, so he was at the kitchen counter lording over this. Wasn't much left on the carcass of our turkey. But John Cornell, it was like if anybody got near him, he'd be,
He wanted all the turkey.
He was hungry. That was wild. That was the 2002, the very first one out in the public. Yeah, we had some parties there. You've been to just about every one of them.
Not everyone.
Most of them. Had the police called on us at the 2001, the last one in the backyard. Or was that my 50th birthday?
The cops came that night?
Well, they came riding by because it was early in the morning.
I was gone.
2-something.
You was gone too. You was gone, passed out before I left.
That's right. It must have been the 2001 Graham Parsons in the backyard. We went on until 2. That was the year we had amplification. Old Paul Lee came out and ran sound for it. He'd been running sound at every one of them since. The police rolled up. He said, "We've been getting some complaints." And I said, "Shut it down, boys." Who's in charge of this? Sean?
Diddy Combs.
Yeah, Fish Dock closed down, and that hurt my
feelings.
It hurt my feelings real bad. So we'll see what happens there. Meantime, I just have to take what's given and try to hustle up some more. Hootenanny's is a pretty nice place. I played there this past weekend. And
this episode, if you take a shot every time Dave says Hootenanny's,
we urge you to do that at home.
You'll be going to sleep about right now in the episode.
Yeah. Y'all ever seen them YouTube reaction videos where 2 college nerds will sit there and discover Deep Purple for the first time in their lives? Yeah, right. Like they ain't never heard it before. This is Stairway to Heaven. We've never heard it in our lives. Well. And one of them, they get on there and they do whiskey shots for some reason.
Get drunk.
Get drunk. I don't know. There must be an idea to it, like the word of the day, Pee Wee's Playhouse. Every time I say Hootenanny, drink.
Hootenanny. No, we're talking about Hootenanny's Barbecue. That is some good eating.
Yeah.
We got some shows coming up there.
Yeah. Y'all played there before, right?
We only played there once for their soft opening.
Oh.
But I
had a good crowd this past weekend. It didn't look like it was going to be anybody.
I saw Blossom and Bone came out. Saw you.
Blossom and Bone came by.
Because they posted a video of you.
And didn't realize it, but the owner, Kelly, was in the audience, and I had never met her. And so they sat there, and listened to the whole show. And
Kelly's Judd's wife.
I don't know, Kelly Natt, Hnatt.
I can't remember her name.
Judd evidently lives next door because she told me at the end of the night after she introduced herself, I said, I hope you're okay with me. I didn't know if I'd screwed up, not knowing she was the owner and me up there
Talking you smack.
talking my smack. I like to relate to the audience in my shows,
For about,
tell some jokes.
he's about 60% jokes, 40% songs.
But they seem to have a good time. And she said, get with Judd. And I said, I will. Message Judd.
So I thought they ran it together. They ran it together when I was
Well,
up there.
they do. They're both there. She said he's the one that handles the bookings. So I don't know if they're.
And somebody, when I played there, I met two groups of people. Judd and his wife do the food, and they're Hootenanny's Barbecue. And then I met another couple that I think own the place.
I think that's Kelly and whoever she is.
Okay, that's what I think too.
Yeah, because Judd Foster,
So I don't
Kelly
think her
Natt.
I might be
and,
wrong, but I don't think Judd's wife's name's Kelly. But
Yeah. And I messaged Judd my dates, and he said, yeah, we were listening on our porch. It sounded good. So he must live right there.
he cooks the food. I don't understand how you were open and they got
Well,
workers now.
Yeah, they just work out of the kitchen. He starts in the morning with that big
And now they got just people working out there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
with that big cooker in the backyard,
So they were running everything but I was at the soft open.
which they nicknamed Big Louie,
What's nicknamed Big Louie?
King Louie,
What is?
that big black smoker.
Oh.
That you sit on the AstroTurf.
They didn't have that when I was there.
Yeah.
I saw pictures.
I got a little AstroTurf and the wooden fence behind me. Looking straight ahead is the audience tables on gravel rock. And then on this shed straight in front of me is a big, long, black barbecue smoker.
Easy.
And Kelly, who I didn't know was Kelly at the time, came in with a crowd of about 6 people. And they walked in with this metal etching of King Louie.
Walking like an Egyptian.
I said, oh, I know what that is. It's orangutan. And I said, King Louie from Jungle Book. He said, that's what they've nicknamed the grill. I said, okay. I said, I thought it was Sasquatch. But I said it was a surprise for Judd to see the next day when he came out and fired it up.
Cool.
Hootenannies be very, very good to me. Boondocks. Boy, y'all got a good thing going. You there about every Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I think a hurricane's going to get us this weekend. We're playing at Boondocks Wednesday, but then we're supposed to be playing in Fort Walton Beach.
And Cheryl Waters, the owner of Boondocks, my wife and a few other girls were going on a girls' weekend to Steenhatchee. And that probably ain't going to happen either.
That's on the Gulf too, isn't it?
That's right below Panama City.
And that second time would be canceled, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to send our condolences out to Cheryl, who had a loss in the family. Yeah.
You written any songs?
Man, I think I told you last time we was on here. They've been coming from somewhere.
They still coming? He was writing like 3 a day last time.
It was. It was crazy. It was crazy stuff. I think between middle of July and now, I've probably written about 40 songs. And the reason, I'm pretty sure, was, and now that I was talking on here about my daddy having all those issues with UTIs, and we were having to split shifts staying with him. Out there at his house, there was no Wi-Fi, only big screen TV with Dish Network, and watching what he wants to watch, which is old cowboy movies and RFD channel and Fox News. So I would slip around to not have to listen to some of that stuff. And I was also reading a book that Linda Hudson loaned me, a big old coffee table book of Willie Nelson and the thoughts behind his songs, you know, why I wrote the song the way I did and this kind of stuff. And I'd read a little quote by Willie that would inspire me to go out back, and I'd sit out in back at Daddy's house and just start writing. And because I wasn't distracted by anything out there, you know, it was just like, that's why they came so ubiquitously.
Word of the day.
Hootenanny. But I mean,
That's me.
they came so fast that I don't know them,
Right.
and by now I don't.
But you got a way of getting back to them?
Well, I didn't have a phone during all that time either, which was one less distraction, one less bell to answer. And,
But if you can't remember any of them, it's just a waste of time.
I've got them corded out, but without a phone, I would usually put them down on the recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed that opportunity. But I do have them corded out. It'd be just a matter of sitting down, looking at them, and thinking about the style of the song, what kind of song it was, and trying to hopefully recreate it. But anyhow, how about you?
I haven't had time. We just been
Y'all are
between gigging about 5 nights a week and then having to take my mom to appointments on my off days and keep their grass mowed up and everything else.
you got a full plate.
I took a nap today. We had take my mom to Jacksonville this morning. But that's become like a regular Monday thing. And we had to leave at 6:30 this morning. I got up at 5.
Oh man,
And that was after playing last night. But it's all part of it.
it is. They did for us. We got to do for them.
That's right.
I'm
But I haven't
expecting
written
my
anything.
son Connor to do for me.
Well, good luck, buddy.
Megan,
At least he's got a good girl.
so with this hurricane coming up, y'all were booked in
Fort Walton.
Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Dosey's Dock.
Dusty's going to get a good dose. Well, maybe. No, they will, regardless of if the eye hits to the...
Well, after I was looking at we were looking at the projections right before we started. It looks like it's going to miss them, but I got to go through it to get there.
Yeah, but even if it misses them, they still going to get that
They're still going to get rain and
rain and wind. Even, which is almost as bad in a lot of cases. Where Waycross sits, we're 60 miles from the Atlantic coast and about 60 miles east of Valdosta. But that panhandle can come up straight through, generally straight through Valdosta when them storms come. And we always seem to get, no matter if the hurricane comes from the Gulf or the ocean, we always seem to get lucky and get outer bands. Mm-hmm. And some of them are pretty wild.
Or even when the eye goes over Waycross, it's not.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Yes, I did. That happened last year.
Yeah.
Oh,
it had just weakened.
Once it make landfall, it weakens so bad.
I know, but it knocked our power out for a week, and then
yeah, that was rough.
That sucked. Yeah, I remember the eye went over because that's when the girl was ODing across the street. Bess had to go over there and Narcan her.
Dang.
Like I was like, who shoots up in the eye of a hurricane? What's going on? It's over.
What kind of person are you in the advent of a hurricane? Are you the kind that goes about prepping and everything, or are you the kind of person that sits back and gets excited because there may be damage?
If you'll shoot on a sunny day, you'll shoot on a stormy day.
Oh, that's right. You're going to shoot. But,
You shooting a forest fire?
Yeah.
Tornado?
If you're going to live that dangerous, you might want to make sure somebody can get you to the hospital.
Well,
I think they get upset now when they Narcan.
Yeah, she was upset when she woke up. She was like, I don't want no more of that.
You messed my high up.
And then, I swear, 15 minutes later, the girl was laughing and had a baby on her hip and getting in a car to go get more.
And now there's some people
with a baby in diapers.
Some people that are mixing stuff with fentanyl because fentanyl ain't enough no more. How crazy is that? I mean,
fentanyl ain't enough.
Yeah, they mix fentanyl with something that's called Trank, but it'll make.
Well, I thought fentanyl will kill you.
It will, but I guess you can build up a.
Well, wait a minute. Now they used to give my mother-in-law fentanyl patches.
Right. Yeah. People they abuse those.
But it's powder. It's powder form too.
But
why did they say that a little bit of fentanyl?
Well, see, they can dose those pouches.
In weed. Oh, they can dose them with a powerful.
Right. Well, they can dose those pouches so it's a sustained, but like very exact measurement.
Right.
That won't
time release or whatever.
But
okay.
The power is so great that if you just multiply it by 2, it seems like an insignificant amount, but it's double, and it can kill you. So when it's also in something that you're taking, it could be almost like I guess, just barely in there, and that's enough.
Right.
Kill my aunt. They say it's in everything now. It's in your cereals. It's in your Lay's potato chips. Can't have nothing.
It's on your guitar strings. It's probably in these peanuts.
Peanut dolls.
Oh. Let's see. What day is this episode coming out? This is
October 1st.
This is the October 1st episode, so we need to talk about the festival.
That's what I was about to say. Grand Parsons is coming up.
I didn't even send you the flyer, did I? You can probably find that it's my.
So your page got hacked. What are you doing now?
What page?
The Grand Parsons page.
I built a new one. And Swamp Town Get Down
completely
got
taken over.
Completely taken over
where
by
he couldn't get into it anymore. And they're like posting about the pyramids and stuff.
Yeah, I can't even delete the thing because I don't own it. So I just set about and made a new one. Look up top, right there. Wait a minute. That's Something in the Water podcast. Go to my Facebook.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you can find it on here probably.
Yeah, I don't still have access, I don't think.
Not there, but just keep scrolling down. I would have sent you it'll be a ways down now. These are all the little blurbs about the individual artists who were performing. There it is. Yeah, right there. 27th annual Graham Parsons Guitar Pull. The artwork, none other than the in-house artist, James Brandon Jones. Mm-hmm. He had done a painting several years ago, and he couldn't find it. I reminded him of it. I said that would make a really good flyer. But the one that I recall, he had instead of just a silhouette of Graham walking down the road with his guitar, it was an actual painting. From behind, you saw the nudie suit and everything. And around the border, he had little squares all the way around the border of this painting that were representative of Graham in some way, you know. Might have had some of these flowers and pot leaves and crosses and fires and it like a patchwork quilt, the little painting that I recall. But this is what he came up with after I challenged him, and pretty neat, very stark. That's that's a asphalt highway running right through Joshua Tree Desert with no scrubs, no plant life, but he's headed to Cap Rock, and in the middle of that, it's almost like first thing that crops up in my mind is a UFO's waiting on him to beam him up.
Yeah.
And then if you'll notice that in the background of the sky on both sides of that, that's Pan on the right, or the devil on the right, blowing one of them, what do you call those things? There's pan flute. And over on the left, I can't remember what that is. It's Phoenix or something. It's real wild. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Zoom in.
Yeah, I'm looking to see where you're talking about because I can't see nothing.
See?
Oh, there you go.
It is a phoenix. And you see the devil over there?
Oh.
Or that's Pan. That ain't a devil. That's Pan, because Pan had horns. That's wild.
That's wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And he added the little flame from his pants leg on the right, the four denominations of cards, sugar cue,
Cross.
the cross on the jacket, and the poppies. Yeah. And our headliners for the weekend, young Jack Barksdale out of Texas, about an 18-year-old kid that's got a voice like a choir boy and can play that acoustic guitar slide like a old Mississippi John Hurt. And Ian Dunlop, the original bass player for the International Submarine Band, was Graham's good buddy in his formative years, right out of high school. They met up in Boston. Graham went to Harvard for about 5 minutes, and they formed the International Submarine Band and took it from New York to Los Angeles, and that was when the beginnings of the birth of cosmic American music. Well, even the International Sub Band, you could call that the birth. Hang on, I'm getting an incoming call from my wife, Aunt Lynn. Hello? You're on the podcast.
Oh, God.
Don't cuss.
I didn't know you were going to a podcast.
I told you that when you was on the phone.
Oh, well, honey, I didn't hear you. Okay, we'll just, I sent you a text message.
All right, well, I'll adhere to that.
Okay.
Will you, it's dark now. Would you let the cat out?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, love you.
Love you. That was Aunt Lynn. Ian Dunlop's incredible. He's not only in the trenches with Graham Parsons in the beginning of what Graham is credited with doing, merging country and rock and roll music. Ian was right there, and a big appreciator of all things country. When they came along, these guys were born in the late 40s, and they came along right on the heels of the Beatles, and they had grown up listening to all these different styles that were out there. You know, country music, rock and roll, early rock and roll, rhythm and blues. And they well, just like me, that was the way radio was in the late 50s, early 60s. It was all things to everybody. You had your hour of gospel in the morning, then you had your hour, about 3 hours of country from noon to 3. Then when kids got out of school from 3 to 7, it was pop. It was current rock and roll top 40. Then at 7 o'clock, it got a little deeper into what something, maybe R&B. No. It was about 10 o'clock at night. They had race music. They call it race music. And that's when they'd play the soul and the rhythm and blues and stuff till sign off at midnight. So you had everything there. And as a child listener, you were exposed to it all. And they were too. So Ian grew up loving Buck Owens, and of course Ray Charles put out a country music album that was heralded by all those young guys. And he'll be here. He lives in Cornwall, England now. And every time he comes, it's fun.
Oh yeah. He says he's messaged me this. He's been messaging me back and forth about coming, and Sunday he said, I just booked my flight.
Yeah.
I can't wriggle out of it now.
He called me Sunday on the messenger to tell me that.
Yeah, we gotta get him on the podcast. Do an episode in person with him. And I got to get ready to record something because
There'll be time.
What are you doing that Tuesday? Because we also need a place to practice.
Really?
I'll look at my schedule. But yeah, every time he comes, we record something pretty cool. He forces it.
Yeah.
He wants to record. He wants to write.
Yeah.
He wants to spend as much time doing those things rather than getting spread out and having to drive to. He is going to Tallahassee.
He is?
Yeah, for maybe a booking or spend time with Mick. Isn't that his name?
Mike?
Mike. We got Mr. Levi Lowry coming down. He's Gid Tanner's great-grandson, the old champion fiddle player in the Skillet Lickers from way back in the 30s. His great-grandson is a badass fiddle player, too. And we got the Pine Box Dwellers. Y'all know them? P. Diddy. PB Diddy. Andy Johnson, Trey Donahue. Now, Thursday night, it starts on a Thursday night with all the RV campers. They'll start getting in the gates at 3 that afternoon, and they'll set up early. And we started doing this campground concert on Thursday night for all the early RV people. And it's Uncle Dave's Waycross Stagecoach. And this one will be Andy Johnson and Trey Donahue We'll have a set at. No. Oh, this is not updated. I just booked somebody else for the Stagecoach on Thursday night. These, of course, no way to get them on the flyer now. We can get them on the flyer, the sponsor flyer, which hadn't been printed up yet. But Blossom and Bone, another South Georgia good band. Mm-hmm. Very eclectic. I mean, they've got a stand-up bass, banjo, acoustic, washboard, harmonica. It's just laid back and original. They'll be playing at 7:45 on Thursday night. I'll start it off at 7. Blossom and Bone at 7:45. Andy Johnson and Trey Donahue out of Thomaston, Georgia.
Yeah, they got some good stuff going on too. They just sat in with us in Thomaston this past weekend.
That's right.
And
what does Trey play?
He plays anything with string on it, but he is a really good bass player. He's really good at everything. But
what does he play with Andy? Stand up.
Both.
Yeah.
They'll do a duo stuff. So he'll play electric, or he'll play the bass. But he was playing bass the other night, and man, he's just like,
I tell you, he's good.
He's just real sitting there like bump on the lob, but like he knows the fretboard, and he's got the good bass tone. Just he's good. I want to book some more stuff with him as a 4-piece like that.
He's technical, but he's got a lot of soul.
A lot of soul, a lot of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't overplay.
That's the key.
Doesn't seem forced. It's
Tasteful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've come to admire.
Yeah. And Andy's good too, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But
see,
we should have both of them on here though, because they've got some really cool stuff worked out. We've had Andy on a few times.
Then after Andy and Trey, it'll be possibility we might be adding another group to that Thursday night concert. But then we got Pine Box Dwellers closing it out, and after that, it ain't over.
Ian,
we do an all-star tribute.
Well, we got Ian too. Did you say that he was going to be there?
I thought he was going to do the all-star part. I think that's what he was wanting to do that night, is just contribute to the end.
Oh, I thought he was doing a set of his own.
I'll have to check with him.
Okay.
Possibility. Ian's going to be there, and he's going to be involved in Thursday night concert too. So more than one chance to see him. If you want to come to just the Thursday night, it ain't but $20 on Thursday night. You get into that portion of the music. But it's better. In Waycross, Georgia, we have a discount on hard tickets. In Waycross, you can buy them at James Engraving and Breezy's Boutique. They're only $50 for the whole shebang. That's half off. It's more than half off, or less. I don't know. If you buy your ticket at the gate, it's about $110 for 3 days. So it's $50 is more than half off. And so there. And we're going to do an all-star finale tribute to Fire.
Fire?
Fire. Da-da-da.
That was Ian's idea, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ian says, well, you look at it, you're having it in the campground. There's campfires. And Graham's wish was to be
burned,
cremated. So, that's a good one, though. We've done tributes to all kinds of crazy things. Dead rock stars.
Country women.
Country women. The letter W. Sesame Street. Moving on. The old faithfuls. All the people who come have been coming, many of them since 2002. As in this first one, Crabgrass Cowboys, Happy Pfister and Happy and Patty. Ooh-wee. She's a fiddler, he's a guitar player, and they dress up.
Show out.
Roy Rogers and Dale Evans kind of outfits. They got big old hearts, a lot of soul out of Tampa. They've been coming they may have missed one. I'm not sure. Dakota Dodge out of Carrollton, Georgia. That's old Seaweed Seaman, my good friend Seaweed Seaman, Howard Seaman. He was a retired gastroenterologist from up there. And music man extraordinary. And David Cry from New Paltz, New York, up there right down the road from Woodstock. He's all over the country. I think he's played every Graham Parsons tribute festival in the United States.
And he owns the Hickory Wind guitar.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He owns the acoustic guitar that the song Hickory Wind, written by Graham Parsons and Bob Buchanan, was written on. How about that for some wild trivia?
It's pretty crazy.
And I know that you've played it.
Yeah, it's nice too.
It's something. Deep Well out of Cochran, Georgia. Good musicians. Ronnie Smith and all the rest of the boys. It's always a pleasure to hear what they've got up their sleeve. We had that virtual Graham Parsons a couple of years ago. Every time that they would, the artists, since we couldn't have it live, would send in a video.
Yeah.
And theirs were always so good.
What was that song they did? They
did She one year.
Yeah, that was a good video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had full.
They come at it from a different angle usually.
They had a full studio production. It was really nice.
Donna Frost from Nashville, Tennessee. Fester Haygood from Athens, up around Athens, Georgia. Good songwriting buddy. Greg Henderson from Marietta. Hickory Wind. That'd be Billy Ray Heron and company. Catherine Ball, we had her as our podcast guest a couple of months ago from Valdosta. She'll be making her debut there.
She doing solo or is she going to have a...
No, she's going to have the band.
Okay.
Kelly Parr will be without the sidecars. She let me know the other day, said the sidecars couldn't make it, but she's going to be there from Brunswick. Lucky Mudd, Mike and Maggie McKinney from Econfina, Florida. Nothing could be finer than to be in Econfina. Good folks. They both own on their land down there in the country. It's they catch the storms too. They'll probably catch this hurricane coming in, but they live on a kind of a little farm out in the middle of the country, just about 15 minutes out of Panama City from the coast. But they've got this backyard stage built, and it's called Maggie's Musical Farm. I played a couple of times down there. It's really a lot of fun. Marlon Brackett from Marietta, too, I believe. He's a country music man. Smart. He knows it. Micah Bond.
He knows it.
Our good friend and fiddle player. Michael and Boney from Claxton. Be good to have her back. I think she's going to be solo as well. Nancy Northrop, all the way from California, and Fountains of the Sun duo that comes out and plays with her, also from California. Pede Boys One Stop sounds like a convenience store / gas station. Ross Pede and his latest configuration. Ross was from Ware County, from Waycross, went to school at Ware County. I was 4 years older than me, but I was lucky enough to play bass in his band before he left Waycross for good and headed to Atlanta way back in the early 70s. And that was Ross was one of the local musicians that everybody looked up to because he could play lead guitar, slide guitar, and drums equally well. He was one of them. And to be asked to be in his band was a big feather in your cap. Susan Hall from North Carolina, another songbird. Tony Brown, original publisher, editor of Relix magazine. Relics. The the Grateful Dead magazine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was Relics.
It's jam band.
Yeah. She was originally the editor there and actually knew Robert Hunter, personally, and her man, Ed Munson. They're going to be duetting. They live in Central Florida now. Ty Manning and the Slaw Dog Biscuits. The circus comes to town in a good way. Ty's a big-time entertainer, and he is now one of us. He's back to his roots. Moved back down here to Trudy and Brantley County, and his Slaw Dog Biscuits, and then myself.
Are you going to do a set?
On Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why you don't play on the big stage every year. It's your festival.
Yeah, you should.
It's crazy.
All those songs.
I like to give everybody else.
That's honorable.
Well, if I ever start a festival, I'm playing it.
Well, I play on Thursday night now. Ain't that enough?
No.
It ought to be enough for me.
It's not enough for the people who come out on Friday and Saturday and don't
You
get to hear you.
deserve to be on the big stage.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to.
If you wasn't putting the festival on, you would be an invitee
Well,
Yeah.
of the festival.
You're not going to talk me into it. So there it is, folks. That's it, and it's coming up fast. Let's see. It'll be 2 weeks from the day you watching this, and you can go online if you'll roll on down to the bottom of this poster. There it is. Just go to that right there, www.gpgpfest.com. In other words, that's GPGPFEST, short for festival.
I thought it was GoPro Fest.
GoPro. Folly Ollie income free. And if you go to the top again, I'll show you something else. Isn't that nice? See the little Safe at Home logo. Pull it up. See that guitar in the front door? I think that was designed by John and Bill Smith's sister, which she'd done the logo of both the festivals. Evelyn Bometz. I ain't heard from her in a while. I hope she's doing all right. Last time I knew she was living in Chicago. She designed that little logo and the Graham Parsons Guitar Pull logo and Swamp Town Get Down logo of the Dragonfly. So there it is. Yeah, number 27. It's been a long time. Now I'm coming your way. Wait Well, I think we've covered most of the fine points. So now we're going to get to the gist of it all. And
This is the part where Dave does all the talking.
it's, I'm running out of stories, so y'all won't have to listen to
y'all
too
just
many.
trying to keep up.
Y'all won't have to listen to too many stories. This is an interesting one here. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a hard one. I know that you got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Very wise. Lyrics from the Eagles, or more importantly, Don Henley, had the idea and had some unfinished lyrics for Desperado long before making his pilgrimage to Southern California and putting together a high-flying band called the Eagles. In 1972, along with guitarist Glenn Frey, Henley completed the song, which would become one of their most popular. I have seen the Eagles live through the years, from 74 forward, including solo concerts by Henley, Frey, Joe Walsh, during their 14-year hiatus as a non-group. On almost every night, the closing song was Desperado. The song was written for the Eagles' second album by the same name, a concept album based on themes of the Old West, showing the analogous relationship between outlaw gangs and rock and roll bands. While many folks love to opinionate on the meaning of the song's lyrics, Henley said that it was initially inspired by a friend back in Texas named Leo. By the time Henley and Frey finished writing the song, it sounds to me as if it could have been a veiled plea to one of Frey's California music heroes, Graham Parsons. Some people say it was. On June 28, 1991, my wife, Aunt Lynn, and I took off to see Don Henley at the Orlando Arena with friends Lee and Dale Tatum. Henley was touring on the strength of his latest post-Eagles solo album, The End of the Innocents. Once again, the final song of the night was the poignant classic Desperado. It drew everyone to their feet, with Bic lighters blazing, showing their love for the song and the singer the way cell phones do nowadays. Early the next day, we set out for Tampa, Florida to visit Mark Holland, owner and visionary of Graham's Place, a newly opened European-style hostel dedicated to the memory of Graham Parsons. In 1980, Mark Holland, a beautiful and sometimes troubled soul, bought the property at Plymouth Street and Ola Avenue in Tampa Heights in 1977. By 90, he had purchased the house next door as well, combining the two into a 10-bedroom bungalow paradise for visitors, backpackers, and musicians from around the world. In 1980, Holland founded the Graham Parsons Foundation and dedicated himself to preserving the history and music of Parsons. Along with John Kravitz and Judy Katz, he wrote, produced, and directed a video documentary about Parsons called The Legend of the Grievous Angel, which aired on Tampa's public access television in April 1989. Pretty good, too. I've got a copy on VHS at home. It's a good documentary. In November of that year, he traveled to Amsterdam, where he was awarded the Dutch Graham Parsons Award, a tiny bust figure created by Henk Korsten. Impressed by the ends in the Netherlands, Mark Holland returned to Tampa, intent on turning his property into a place where people from everywhere could gather together in the spirit of music. Through the years, Graham's Place has attracted visitors and fans of GP's music. Former bandmates of Parsons, Neil Flans, N.D. Smart II, and Ian Dunlop have played on the Courtyard stage. There he is. Sadly, on November 4th, 2007, the architect and visionary of Graham's Place, Mark Holland, took his own life. He was 56 years old. In the months following Mark's death, as Graham's Place began to fall apart, brothers Bruce and Jim Holland stepped in to save the hostel. To this day, it is in full operation and continues to perpetuate the vision and dream of its originator. When we visited in June of '91, Graham's Place was in its infancy, reflecting a Peter Pan-like spirit with a high wooden fence surrounding a courtyard of brick, palm trees, and a tiled jacuzzi tub. Inside the house, steps led down into the Graham Parsons Museum, a small room filled with pictures, magazines, artifacts, albums, and clothing, including the dress Emmylou Harris wore on the cover of her album, Evangeline. The rest of the bungalow was a treehouse of sorts, rooms spiraling off in all directions, up, down, and sideways. That evening, we ordered pizza and sat around the kitchen table talking about Mark's dream of running off with the circus, his disdain for the painful practice of circumcision on African females, Moya, and our mutual love of Graham Parsons music. There were a limited number of bedrooms available, so Lynn and I slept on the floor of the museum. Somewhere in the night, cloaked in dreams of Emmylou's dress, I heard the mournful spirit of Graham's songs as they called out to people like me and Mark Holland, founder of Graham's Place, where time stands still and music plays on.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was right up under that thing.
I heard you put it on.
I might have. It wouldn't have been nothing.
What it smell like?
Mothballs.
After you put it on.
Sachet.
I don't know what it smelled like before, but after it smelled like mothballs.
Potpourri. Well, thanks again, folks. We've enjoyed having you. Stay tuned. We're going to be coming out with number 100. It's going to be a barn burner.
Just like this one.
Just like this one. You always learn something. Can't say that about all podcasts. Peace, love, mothballs.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.